What up, my freaks? Ruinous Insight here with part 25 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Grimgor Ironhide campaign. So as we saw last time, Grimgor struck at the Glade of Eternal Moonlight with Grom the Paunch, the Grim and the Grom working together again to bring down Durthu, though neither Durthu nor Ariel stood much of a chance in combat against Grimgor himself. Unfortunately, there appeared to have been, I don't know if it was a bug or whether it was just the nature of the battle, but Grimgor basically leveled up 10 levels or whatever from that single battle, which means we may have been forced to skip several of the faction bonuses that he gets for leveling up to level 6. I mean, not much we can do about it. He's level 50 now and we got 1, but I think we missed out on 2. Oh well, though, to be fair, it's not like we needed any more strength buffers for this particular campaign. Let's say we're doing pretty good. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this time around, the main thing is to confederate Azhag. I did a little bit of a diplomacy manipulation between the episodes. Namely, I gave Azhag like 70,000 gold in order to force him to declare war on a few extra factions. This war declaration enabled us to make him weak enough so that he was willing to confederate. So, that's what we're gonna do. Propose offer. And just like that, Azhag's faction is ours, though we... Ooh, man, that was a big swap in terms of money making. 1, 2, 3, 4? No, 3. Alright, 3 territories we got out of that. We got something of a little army out here. We got another couple of... Oh, wow, you got a lot of giants. Although the auto-resolve ain't gonna thank you. We got a little goblin shaman here. Shaman's lackey, seduce units. Oh, that's actually gonna be useful, but not on you. You don't need that scroll of blast. We could put you into an army, but on the other hand, I think what I'd rather do with you is get you to steal some more tech. Do you have any extra shamans here? There's a big boss and another orc shaman here. And oh, of course you fail. Do you have any shamans? No, you have another black orc big boss. Well, either way, we're going to keep one of these guys as an army. You have Big Bully and you have Ice Load Crusher, so you defeated Serena Catrin, whereas you're a higher level. And you have Faithbreaker, but you don't have the other thing. And oh wow, you have a lot of stuff on you. Damn. Alright, well, I think... Wait, you're a Goblin Great Shaman, what are you? You're a Night Goblin Warboss. Oh, even though I do like Ice Load Crusher, I think you, sir, are going to be the one to keep the army. So, let's put you into Vitzi for a minute. Let's trade all of these units to you. At least for now, and then you, sir, can go away. And we can... Oh, you have a Lichbone Pennant. Very, very nice. And a Potion of Healing. Alright. Alright, now, more importantly than all this, is where the heck is Azhag? Oh, he was wounded. In 2 turns, he will be back, though, so at least that's not that long. We won't have to wait too much for him to join the fray again. Zajar Rotgut, we're going to have you join an army, and I fear... What do we have here? And these guys are probably going to take Svenelev. Decent likelihood. We're going to need to send an army up here. What do we have here? A River Troll Hag with Knowledgeable on her. Can River Troll Hag steal tech? If they can steal tech. And what are you? And we have a Night Goblin Shaman with Choppa Envy. Alright, go to Steel Tech. Oh, okay, I should have done Specialist. And Steel Tech. Really, Steel Tech is more valuable than anything else right now. And, well, I don't know how many of these we can build. It's more than we have, so... Yeah, you can probably steal a little bit of tech. I might delete you, I might not. It remains to be seen. Steel tech for you. Alright, do we have any more heroes out on the field that we got from that Confederation, which we don't really need? By the looks of it, we're okay. Kislev will probably attack us, and this army will not be enough to hold them for long, so we'll really need to join these two together to get Azhag in there. Can you? I can't enter the actual territory. Alright. Oh, we can expect to lose a few territories, but I think we'll be able to fix it, and frankly, the negative money isn't that big of a difference to us. Next up, Grimgor. I believe we were going to send Grom down to the Waterfall Palace, and wait. Actually, yeah. We'll send Grimgor to reinforce to allow this to be auto-resolved, because frankly, we've already fought like I don't know, a bunch of these battles, and if it's auto-resolvable, then we'll auto-resolve it. If it isn't, then we'll fight it. Grimgor, we can jump you right there, outside, and let's see what it looks like now. Close victory. And it still kills off one of the giants, because of course it does. Alrighty, well, I guess we're gonna have to fight another one of these. Frankly, I think Grom can handle it, but, well, maybe not. And we shall see. I guess we'll send you... I was about to say to help, but we can probably send you down here to take the feast calls of the War Dancers with Grimgor, while Grimgor moves down to Glade of Eternal Midnight, and then we take the rest of what remains here. We'll do that in a little bit. I'd like to see who else can or needs to move. Spite Blood Reaper. Now that you're done with Summer's Hall Fort, and we're gonna, yeah, we're gonna send you up an ambush. We're gonna pop you right here. It's only 50% chance, unfortunately. Oh, wait, it increases to 80% chance right here. Alright, go right here. And then we'll put Mr. Vicious the Despicable right behind you. There are 3 undead armies here, and maybe we can... Is it me, or did it not say 80, but now it says 70? Why are you lying, game? Why are you lying? Ah, now it says 70. What the heck? Why? How dare you? The game is rude. Anyway, you don't ambush, you just sit there. And we'll see if we can't get Vicious to do his thing. And Snorko has 3 turns until his army is ready to go. Sans, of course, the Arachnaroks that we want in there, but, well, not much we can do about that. Anyway, Arachnic Spiderclaw. I believe we were going to declare war on Draika. She doesn't have too much in the way of territory. Could be potentially concerning, but I think we're okay. Going to WAAAGH begins. Are you at war with anybody that we care about? Clan Skull, the Fecondites, and the Slaughterhorn tribe. Guess we can ask the Fecondites. Do you want to join our war against the Ice Court, maybe? We're not giving you 40k for that. We'll just do it for free, then. Wargrove of Woe. You know what? Give us your 3k. It's not much and we don't care about it, but just so that I feel like we got something. Arachnic, take Schoppendorf real quick. I believe you're going to auto-resolve and raise the place. Oh, and it didn't do much damage to your spiders either. Well, that's always nice to see. And really, we only get 15 scrap for raising this? Really? 15? Man, getting scrap is surprisingly difficult. It costs 25 scrap to buff up a single goblin unit, the cheapest of the units that we have, and raising an outpost gives us 15. I'm almost tempted to sack it, but we're not going to hold on to these territories, so just raise it. Raise it, go into Raiden Camp, and then proceed to Allendorf. Alright, Snodling Scavengers, a couple Swindlers, a Serial Looter, and some other stuff, and we're good. Alrighty. We have more than enough admin to do, so yeah, no more territories. Arachnic, you're good. Nobber, I believe you're still besieging, so we have to see if the enemy is willing to sally out. Gorkill. And we do have Mr. Boris Todbringer here, eh? Might be worth a fight. I mean, I don't think it'd be anything crazy, but it might be worth a fight just for fun. See how those trolls do against a walled settlement. Rogue Fairy Idol, yeah, or Rogue Idol Fairy, rather, you're fine. Oglok the Boreable, can you get to Fjordgard? No, it looks like you cannot. Meaning you're just going to, I guess... Well, you don't need to heal up, so you can just underway stance, like right here. And go to Fjordgard. Alright, anybody else? Griebitz. Ooh, Griebitz, it looks like we have a battle for you, my friend. A 3/4 stack and nearly a full stack of defenders. Alright, that's exciting times for Griebitz and the Savage Orcs. And let's see how they do, shall we? Alright, move to Chenhild's Monoliths. And we can indeed attack, so we will in a second. Ooh, they have Black Orc support as well, which is going to be very dangerous to these orcs in particular. What do we have in the army again, other than the Savage Orcs? Just the Rogue Idol. Okay, so we have Du Bois maxed out. I think we'll get a Chi Nuisance for you, although we do have the Orc Shaman to light damages. I guess we're going to go for maxing out Edbutt, or you know what, let's go 2 points in Edbutt and 2 points in Brain Burst. We're probably going to be using them both. And then the Giant River Troll Hag has Soul Blight maxed out. Replenish Troops is fine. You know what, let's get Fate of Biuna. I don't think we're going to use it, but you never know. We might need to hit the Black Guard of Nagarond. They only have a single unit of them, and it might be better to knock them out rather than letting them fight all of our Savage Orcs. And now we could buff up the Savage Orc Boar Boys here. And you know what, I think we will. This is going to be a potentially tough battle, so we're going to go for those scrap saddles. Very nice, and I don't care about leveling the Rogue Idol. 1, because it costs 100, and 2, frankly, I don't care for either of the buffs. If the buffs gave us melee defense, or physical resistance, or missile resistance, anything that the Rogue Idols are very vulnerable to, I would be more inclined to take them, but, you know, a little bit more winning hard is... feels unnecessary. Anyway, time for a nice cinematic. Away we go. Alright, here we go. The Savage Orcs probably feeling a little cold as they are in Norscan now, away from the Badlands, which they're used to, but hey, that's okay. The blood of their enemies will keep them warm, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure the proximity to the Khornate factions will allow some of the Khornates to suggest that to them. Anyway, plenty of enemy units here to contend with, and the Black Orc support is going to be particularly nasty as we have no spell resistance on any of our units here, and well, we do have plenty of physical resistance due to that war paint, but the spell resistance is a concern. The enemy holds a pretty darn good position, and frankly I would have taken this position myself, and they've got a nice wooded area here, so we can, well, we will have less effect from our large units. This big old impassable terrain blocks their flanks and protects all of these artillery pieces. And their flanks are also protected by the woods, which wouldn't be great for our Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins or any other large units. But anyway, the battle will start with the Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins, as we were just discussing, charging a unit of enemy Cold One Knights. These are the spear kind, I believe, and thus they are anti-large, and we do have to be concerned. And here comes the Black Orc support. And this is most definitely going to hurt, and ooh, looks like we got hit by 2 versions of types, I guess, of Black Orc support, and yeah, that's pretty nasty. One of our units of Orc Boar Boy Biggins, Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins, there's gotta be a quicker way to say that one, has gotten hit for about half of its HP, and that was with me reacting and moving it out before the entire mob took the entire hit. On the bright side, the enemy Cold One Knights did also, or they did suffer damage to our own units quite a bit, and are nearly done for, though the enemy did pop Vissen's Wild Form at the same time as it dropped the spells, giving it additional armor, so that was pretty nice. Don't know if it was on purpose, but it was pretty nice. It's always hard to say when the AI does things that are on purpose or whether they're just good accidents. But anyway, the Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins are back in action now, facing off against the enemy cavalry, and this is quite a nice contest, though it looks like it won't last for much longer as the enemy Cold One Knights are going to rout. They are going to call for reinforcements as Bleak Swords and Dread Spears arrive, and we're going to back off rather than face them. The other units of Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins are moving into the fray as well, trying to go after enemy Dark Shards and enemy Black Orc Corsairs, while our melee units have also engaged the enemy. Can't make this nothing but a Savage Orc Boar Boy show, I guess. We have the Borables army for that, so we gotta watch the melee units fight. Bone Clubbers and Biggins facing off, all Savage Orcs of course, all facing off against the enemy melee infantry and Harpies down here, while arrows arc overhead. And ooh, you can see that the Rogue Idol marching in the background quite slow. Gotta love those slow-mo shots occasionally. Anyway, slow-mo won't, well, make the battle a little bit too long, but it is nice to get the occasional shot. Anyway, and Bone Clubbers will hopefully overrun the enemy. We are taking quite a bit of damage in the center here. We can see a couple of our units of Bone Clubbers have lost about half their HP, so we're going to help them out with an Itchy Nuisance down upon the enemy, and as soon as the Itchy Nuisance ends, our River Troll Hag can either use her Helm of Discord or pop the Soul Blight, and just use repeated spells that are around on big blobs of enemies to make sure that we have the advantage in terms of stats for our units. Anyway, it looks like the enemy melee are fighting pretty much on par with us, but the enemy range line is getting overwhelmed as more Bone Clubbers and Savage Orcs have moved past the enemies. They are going to get a few hits on them from the Black Orc support, but that won't stop them from running after the enemy Dark Shards. Without range support, this Dark Elf army is going to be a lot weaker. It looks like down here, the Savage Orcs managed to beat the enemy infantry, so we are going to head in to help the Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins. And in fact, we're going to back him off and allow the Savage Orcs to move in and fight the infantry, and then simply hit them in the back and the flanks with the cav instead. At the same time, it looks like enough casualties have been forced to cause the enemy to activate its murderous prowess, so all of their units will be fighting a little bit better. But will they be able to fight on par with the Savage Orcs in melee, is the real question. It looks like down here, at least, our Savage Orcs do have the advantage, Wissen's Wild Form aside. Here it was a little bit more tough, but as soon as the enemy backline collapsed, we were able to get a couple nice rear charges into the blob. And of course, our River Troll Hag was pretty instrumental in keeping everybody nice and debuffed. We got some nice shots of the rogue idol in these trees. Too bad you can't see it just knocking down piles of enemy trees as it moves. Enemy trees? Just piles of trees, I guess. Orcs ain't environmentalists, I guess. But anyway, down goes the last of these few units, and it looks like with that, the enemy army will in fact rout. Nice, long little fight, actually. Very nice indeed. I was very happy with that one. We do not have to chase the enemy down because it's a settlement, a close victory, and well earned for the Savage Orc army. Alright, a nice little fight. I definitely enjoyed that, and the Dark Elves certainly knocked out a fair few of our units during the battle. Of course, we recovered fairly well due to the lack of model losses, but nonetheless. Looks like we got 18k, 13k, I think 21k on these Savage Orc Biggins is the best one, but I think these 18k ones, the Cone Blubbers, oh, that's gonna get confusing, and the Derib Rattlers, both did the best. 20k on these ones as well. Well, 23k, oh, very nice. Kinda not surprising about the Savage Orc Poor Boy Biggins there, though. Anyway, we're gonna take the place, not gonna bother. Yeah, and this is also only worth 15 for raising. Man. Yeah, I thought that raising higher level territories would be worth more than 15, but I guess it's just 15 for any minor settlement. Damn, that's just not enough. That's nowhere near enough. But oh well. Province secured for Cape of Norska, a free giant blade. Nice, nice, nice. And we have a squig breed farm here, though alas, I don't think we need it. We're gonna swap you into Gividir, and we will keep everything else. Oh wait. Oh, this is the place we got. It wasn't this. I just decided to keep... You know what? Keep the squig breed farm, then. I guess I kept it last time for a reason, and I no longer remember what that reason may be. And it doesn't mean we can't keep it now. Now, you're nearly ready for an upgrade to tier 5, so I think we're gonna ignore... Yeah, we're gonna ignore that, so we're not gonna build anything here for now. But that'll change. Then... Let's just take a look here. These places are probably they're probably screwy as all hell, and we'll need to adjust. More likely than not, we'll probably want to build some defensive structures in a lot of these territories. There's already one here, there's a hag hut here, and other gloomy hollows, which we probably, frankly, don't need, and the raiden stashes here. And defenses here. Why the heck is the AI building gloomy hollows in every single territory? Very odd behavior. Although I've seen otter from the AI, we certainly don't need the Goblin Tinkerer's shop here, and frankly, probably don't need one here either, but we'll keep it just in case we keep Ungalia as a military province. No guarantee, but, you know, we'll figure it out. There's a good chance, let's say, that I'll adjust this a little bit further between the episodes, as in the territories that we've gained here, but that doesn't mean we have to do it now. Also, we probably don't need all these bosses' shacks here. You know what, I'll take another look at those later, in between the episodes, as I don't want to deal with them all. Alright, now, as these are going to be shorter episodes, and we don't need to waste that screen time. Anyway, Gorkill, I guess it's time for you to go in. We cannot resolve this because, frankly, the Hydra is a liability, and I guess Boris Todbringer is there, so he might give something of a defense. Let's find out. And, I guess this will be another opportunity to see if this particular siege works as a cinematic or not. Well, what is this? A cinematic siege battle? Yes, you are quite correct to gasp, as I have figured out in the Torox campaign what was wrong. And with the sieges, they're not fixed, merely I know how to look for the ones that work versus the ones that no longer do, and it's as simple as observing the HP of the gates. If the HP is at 14k instead of 30, then the siege battle will not work, and if it is at 30, then it will, because there is some kind of disparity as to the gate health between SFO and between vanilla. But anyway, all that aside, we get a cinematic to watch for, and a duel between Gorkill Gutstabba, our pseudo-legendary lord, and his opponent here, Boris Todbringer. Boris has plenty of buffs, and he's going to have to deal with a Spirit Leech and the lethal poison from Gorkill, so it should be pretty nasty on him. He is, however, unbreakable. He does have the Middenland Rune Fang, which will give him 0.20% healing, which is quite a bit. That debuffing White Cloak of Ulrich, and generally some nice stuff, and Crush the Weak, as well as the White Cloak. Minus 14 melee attack on Gorkill, though he's at 90 when he's losing 14. Ain't too bad, I would think. Although it looks like Crush the Weak is only if he's... Okay, well, the 4 isn't working, but the rest at least is. But I don't think anything's really working for Mr. Boris, as Gorkill is most definitely winning the duel. Now we're going to try to position Gorkill in such a way so that he can't get gunned down by those handgunners. Hopefully, at least this way, some of them will hit Boris instead of us, though Boris is, of course, a much smaller target, and is now at about a third of his HP, whereas Gorkill is more or less fine. Fine, perhaps, but nonetheless we are able to pop his healing potion as needed. Not right now, but it will be eventually. We can see in the background brain bursters going down into the enemy forces. The handgunner is the specific target, because we need them and destroyed so that they don't threaten Gorkill. Boris still fighting and healing at the same time. We're taking shots from the handgunners from one direction and from that cannon tower from the other, though luckily it's not super accurate and will at least miss a decent amount of shots. But despite all that, Gorkill is holding on. He now pops his healing potion as Boris and drops to about 1 or 2 more hits. And the Unbreakable did not serve him well, as due to the speed of the Pegasus, he probably would have been able to escape, but Unbreakable, he fought to the end and will fall. And now Gorkil's going to move away from those handgunners before they do too much damage and head towards that cannon tower to destroy it, and before the rest of our forces arrive. Speaking of the rest of their forces, they're working on that gate, and it's probably going to take quite a while to work our way through it, so we're just going to speed it up while we do. That HP on the SFO gates is pretty massive, and even with dozens of trolls and a Hydra and a couple of Black Orcs all whacking away at it, it just don't go down quickly. I do think that there needs to be a slight adjustment with the damage types, like infantry should be very slow at breaking through the gates, but I would imagine that a Hydra would be reasonably quick. Maybe the giant river troll hag as well. Anything really, really big should do bonus damage to buildings, like the way that fire units do bonus damage to building. But anyway, although it took a little bit of time, we are through and the trolls are in. Now this is the first real siege, or walled siege, that they're going to contend with. We've also got our two gigantic or colossal squigs that are now providing the buffs to everybody. And we also got to keep in mind that this army will get stronger as we do get we will rather, get the buffs from the other units that we're currently building for it. To support the Blob/Death Star. This is the Death Star formation that we are likely to keep with this army for as long as possible, and that's why we want that Slaneshi War Shrine, why we want that Rogue Idol, why we want that Blood Shrine of Corn, and why we want that Blood Rack Cauldron, all to buff everything around it. Although the trolls look to be doing pretty good now that they've got veterancy, they've got leadership buffs of various kinds, hovering around 58. Leadership, it's still relatively low, but it's much more manageable. And hey, even the regular trolls are doing good work. We don't have to replace them with nothing but stone trolls as yet, just so that we have variety in troll types, and just so that we don't have to go for the best ones around. If they die, perhaps the ones that we rebuild will be stone trolls, but right now, they're not needed. Anyway, the enemy infantry is getting absolutely minced here, sort of in a reverse meat grinder, as we were the ones who broke through the gate. And technically we're surrounded, but it's the enemy getting pulped. Alright, gotta love it when it's melee infantry versus our piles of trolls, rather than piles of ranged infantry, like we had when we were fighting the elves when this army had just started out. Alrighty, and there's Gorkil working his way into the fray as well, just to apply a bit of that lethal poison and help out everybody with his leadership aura. He did annoy the enemy mortars long enough to prevent them from firing, in the sense that the crew has abandoned their artillery pieces. The Hydra, together with Gorkil, move in, and now it's time to chase down those pesky handgunners, those pesky pistoliers, and, well, pretty much anything pesky here, which is pretty much everything. Alright, and that's one side of the battlefield. The other side, we've separated a few units of trolls who are fighting the remnants of the enemy greatswords, who I actually believe just routed, and the flagellants, who will obviously fight to the death. That said, they're weak enough in terms of their weapon strength due to their... well, actually, their armor piercing is pretty okay, but we can more or less ignore them with most units, and just allow a few of our remaining trolls to break them apart. Well, they're fighting for their right to live. As to how well they're fighting, that's a different question altogether. A few more enemy range units and melee units together are trying to escape. A Black Orc and one of our colossal squigs leads the way up the ramp, while Gorkil leads the rest of our forces towards the enemy range units. Our units of not Black Orcs, but our units of Biggins have also made it in. Probably one of the very last battles they will ever fight in this army, so they gotta enjoy themselves while they're here. Alrighty, and just a few more units. I imagine that if we get those pistoliers engaged, or if we engage a few more of those crossbows, the battle will be ours. The pistoliers will of course run, but once the rest of the army has routed, I don't imagine they'll be fighting for too much longer. Crossbows are trying to fire, but the Biggins make it in. some nice one-hit kills. I mean, I guess we're gonna get hit with one of those big old choppers, one of those big old, I don't even know what to call that thing. Kind of freaky mace type thing. But it's a big old mace thing. Nearly the size of a regular Yumi's torso, so you don't want to get hit with one of those. And nor the spikes. Oh, and some of them have just 2 choppers as well. I wonder which is the superior method. And gotta put our orcs in a little coliseum thing and make them fight it out, and see who's ready to face off against Grimgor. But anyway, decisive victory for us and a nice little cinematic siege for the trolls. Alright, very, very nice. It looks like the troll army is getting stronger and stronger, and Gorkill is as well, defeating Boris Stodbringer effectively in a one-on-one. I mean, he is one of our pseudo-legends after all, so great job. Alrighty, and I forgot, are we gonna... I think we're going to keep Salzenmund, so we are going to occupy it rather than sack, and it's not like our money is a problem, so... Yeah, man, we still are getting... Oh, now that we're negative in money, we're going to be getting swindlers again constantly. Alright, that's fine. Though, Gorkill, I would actually like you to leave Salzenmund and then go into Raiden Camp stance. Sadly, Raiden Camp doesn't reduce your chances of getting a plague by the looks of it, but oh well. I think being outside the settlement makes you slightly less likely to get Festus's ague, but then again, Festus's ague shouldn't be a particularly threatening plague, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal anyway. Anyway, we'll still move to Norden and Dietershofen, and I want just to link up our empires, essentially, now that we have Azhag's territories acquired. Alrighty, Ugg de Boy Snatcher, you don't need to do anything. Rogue Idol Fairy, yeah, we're gonna keep you around for a little bit. Varrig Legbiter. Alright, our new Squig army. We gotta try you out, sir. Let's get you to pick up that shipwreck, but then we'll leave the rest for our seagoing army. You can put the war banner on one of the Arachnaroks. I'll resolve this real quick and get, I guess, the slaughter captives. Not like the money matters much. And a spider banner. Oh, very nice, very nice. That should, I'm actually not sure whether this should go to you. And another materials, let's see. Man, gotta really use these earlier. As in, well, more of these earlier. But anyway, you, sir, you are going out this way. You're gonna heal up at sea, and then you're gonna head out to Norska. Unfortunately, the Dark Elves will be dead by the time you get there, but Kugath will still be alive, and it looks like the Slaneshi are holding on, and there's plenty of Norskins and Chaos Forces for us to have a nice fight with, so, you know, the Squigs will find a thing or two to chomp down on, I'm sure. Sonorko, Vicious the Despicable, who else still needs to move? Vicious is waiting for next turn. Griebitz, I know I'm forgetting at least somebody. Leroy Jenkins, you are the one who you were sending out at sea, so to sea you shall go. See a few things. Oh, there's 2 islands down here, nice. And just get fell cargo. I didn't want wax sealed rations. I wanted the thing that makes you move further faster, but it's okay. You're gonna be out at sea for a long, long while, so you may as well get used to it. And Leroy Jenkins, I believe, was actually the last of our moves. Mugga Delich is still here. Oh, I guess if we really wanted to, we could send Mugga Delich around to grab these and then send Leroy up north. Mugga needs to move north anyway. And also at the same time, Mugga needs to use the, well, he needs to get some Arachnaroks or somebody to get him some Arachnaroks. And we need somebody to build him some more Plug Jazales for this ranged army, so it's gonna be a little bit of a while before it is fully complete. Hopefully we'll still be able to get it into combat by the time we're, I don't know, around here maybe, as these armies, I'm sure, will advance. Anyway, let's continue. Let's see what else we've got going. Oh, right, we do have another fight potentially with Grom and Grimgor. attacking the Waterfall Palace, but I guess if we can't auto-resolve this, we'll have to save this to next time. Yeah, alright, we're out of time. I guess we're going to make these episodes a little bit shorter now that they're in the Shadow Channel or the Campaign Retirement Home or any of the other ways that you guys have dubbed this place. Each one better than the last. But anyway, more Grimgor to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, as engagement on this, like the other Shadow Channel campaigns, will determine how often these are posted, whether it be every day, every other day, etc. etc, etc. So, and do keep that in mind if you're into that sort of thing. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.